All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:32. It is September 5th. Just like that. It is Thursday. We got the ADP today. We got jobs tomorrow, and the market is doing what it wants. Anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's 6:30 Club, where we try and focus on how to make money every day, how to position ourselves strategically, and to see what the market is obsessing about. And obviously, right now, it's about jobs, disinflation. Are earnings enough? Are we slowing down too much? Are we going to do 50 basis points on September 18th? Do we have 100 basis points worth of cuts? We're only 2.5% off the highs. We just broke the upper range. What does that mean? Where do we go? And that's what we're going to figure out. And we do that strategically. So anyway, if you take a look here at the chart real quick before I say hello to some of my dogs around the world, you will see that here we are, right? Let me get in there too, so you could say, hey, there's Red Dog. We had this upper range that was going for 9 days. That was last Friday, and then they basically did a bull trap to get anybody who was positioning for one more move out of it. And then yesterday, what did we do? We retested this 554.42, a little bit below 555, came in, and this morning we're flattish. So you can kind of get rid of this little candle here. Question is, do we stay below this and do we create this H cell setup to then break into this gap and fill it down to 545? And then remember, I posted the retracement rules telling you that the 3.82% retracement of the move from 510 to 564 comes in right in around here. So that would be a likely spot. But anyway, we have the ADP today. We have jobs report tomorrow. Chances are, whatever happens at 8:30, it's either going to bring us back into this zone or down into here or here. So place your bets or just trade the action thereafter. At this point, you have the Mag 7 names are all bent, a little bit broken, really, and they're just giving you a little bit of action depending on the day and the setup. You have the semis that have been under pressure, pretty much. Even after the move that we saw, if you look here at the semis, the move from the lows, which we had here, this was your August 5th lows, all it did is make a lower high. So the semis showed relative weakness, which is why, they've been a headwind here with NVIDIA's numbers, obviously not being enough. So that's been for sale. And then you have Avago after the close. So anyone who's thinking that, the SMHs are going to see the 200-day or below, we're going to have to see the reaction to Avago's numbers. At this point, NVIDIA has been a really good tell, right? NVIDIA has been working lower. NVIDIA, I think came out with numbers here. If you remember, 122 is the spot. There's always a spot to measure for opportunities, money, and sentiment. And it broke below that post earnings. Then you had an inside candle. Then remember, we started the week, it broke below 116. And then yesterday, it actually opened in the hole. I made some money, buying it. It took back 107. 110 was the spot. I'm like 110 to 112 it can go to, went there and then failed. Now the question is, what's next? There was some news after the close that it wasn't subpoenaed by the DOJ, but who knows? And that really wasn't the reason why I was down. Listen, Microsoft's been subpoenaed by the DOJ. Google's been subpoenaed by the DOJ. Apple, for decades. So most of the most successful companies in the world that happens to, because they want to get paid, from the and knock on the piggy bank. But anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world now. Who do we got here? We got Ali. Good morning. We got Blair. Good morning. What up, buddy? Sanjeev. We got Todd D in the house. EK. Robin Ortiz from Colombia. Health-minded, jobs today and payroll tomorrow, you mean? Yes. No, isn't ADP today and then payrolls are tomorrow? Yeah, Mike says SMH is going lower and the video going lower. Probably feels like it. Todd D says, what a weird day that waited to a day to respond. That's true. So, by the way, I think on YouTube is where you guys could make your responses or interact with me or give me some tickers. It's not really on. What up, Massapequa? I'm from Saucet. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm doing my, the 630 club. So I took down my risk. Like if people like Red Dog, what are you doing right now? This is the virtual trading floor. All I have on is a little NVIDIA from yesterday. It's up 69 cents. And I actually took home Tesla because Tesla was acted really well yesterday. So those are my two overnights besides a little bit of a hedge, with the SOXS calls just in case Vago misses, or isn't enough. And then we get some kind of jobs report to get us lower down to that area. So I've brought in my risk, but this is just my trading risk. This is just what I get paid on, monthly and quarterly. As far as my 401k, every month, put your money in no matter what happens. Even if you think this is 2007, 2008, don't try and time it. I have friends that timed the financial crisis perfectly. And then after the big move back up into 2012, they've been waiting for a pull-in and they've missed the last decade of gains. So if you have a 401k, just go with it. Don't even look at your statements, especially if you're younger than I am, and I'm going to be 52 in 2 weeks. If you have a blood in the street account, hopefully you made some money twice so far, and now you're waiting. This isn't blood in the street yet. But anyway, Bob Welch from Houston says, what's up? Palantir inclusion into the S&P 500. That's interesting, Space. When does that happen? I've heard this for a while now. It could happen, I guess. When is that right now? Yesterday, Palantir gave you a nice Red Dog reversal. I remember looking at this yesterday, and I was like, hey, this is 29.75. It got below it, reclaimed it. Perfect little Red Dog reversal, right? 33 was a Red Dog reversal tops. These are like bookend Red Dog reversals. It's good to know. So let's do a little lesson here. From breaking above 27.50 up to here, anyone who thought this was going to 35 all of a sudden got above this 32.66 area and couldn't hold. That was a signal to reduce your share size, or maybe even get short, right? Red Dog reversal sell. Then it came in, gave you a little bit of a bottom tail. And then, 33.31, if you were looking for an entry, some people who thought it was going to go to the 50-day, what did it do? It went below 29.75 and reclaimed it. So this was a Red Dog reversal sell. This is a Red Dog reversal buy. And that's a good, explanation of the Red Dog reversal. Happens all the different times, lots of different ways. Anyway, some people are like, hey, Red Dog, why is, the Mag 7 name so bad? It feels like value and utilities are going up. It's fine. If you're in value and utilities, you know what, and you're making money. If you're in the Mag 7 waiting for them to reset up for better action, then you just have to be patient. If you look at this Apple, Apple gave you a signal. Apple has been a great stock. It was my grab during that August 8th time frame. And then when it got through this resistance, it proved that the market isn't going to just be feeble. And then you had a topping tail, and then it broke 227 right here, the 8th day. That was my out, and that was Monday. Now, it's trying to hold the 50-day. Someone asked me about what I said before about Tim Cook potentially in a succession plan. I heard that over the weekend from some buddies. I think there was a Bloomberg article. You could look at it. Maybe that's the reason, or maybe not. I'm just saying that, that would probably be an emotional scenario. I told you the story how I was on my balcony having a barbecue when I heard Steve Jobs died, and I was long Apple, and everyone was like, oh my God. Obviously, he could have made gazillions since, even though God, hopefully he's having fun up there doing whatever he's doing. But anyway, so, now I would say you could be long versus 217. It's down a little bit. Then people are like, well, Red Dog, what happened to Amazon? Well, Dollar Tree. Do you see what happened to Dollar Tree, by the way? My goodness gracious. That's dangerous stuff. At least you could, this gave you a sell signal, and then it gave you a gap that never got filled before that. So there was no reason any trader was in this. So anything, maybe some guys made good money. Bottom line is, trends don't lie. Look at this, gap that never got filled. And then every time I went to the 50-day, it got rejected. And then here was below the moving averages. So no one I know was in that stock, thank goodness. But anyway, if you look at Amazon, I thought maybe it can go green yesterday because it was, had a nice candle on Friday. And that's part of the frustration. You get a big candle like this on Friday saying, hey, I'm here. Maybe I could act better. And then it gave you a little bit of constructive action and then gave it all back. Now what? It's a choppy mess. I would just, let it rebuild. That's what these things are doing. Tesla's been great. So Tesla, I actually spoke to my friend, Jack yesterday, who I like a lot. He's been at Schoenfeld for like 30 years, one of the best traders I know. And I said to him, like, you taking Tesla home? Looks good. It was strong all day. He's like, well, every time we've tried to get follow through in Tesla, it's been a pain in the ass. I'm like, well, if I had to be in something, that makes some sense. So anyway, I'm in Tesla also. Tesla's up 4. There's some news of their automated driving software, whatever they call that. It's up 4. I just trimmed a little bit, but I will try and hold some. As long as it holds above, just say 222, you can now, draw another line here. It's been acting better. Yeah, Tesla, when Tesla acts better, it's a fun world out there. I've been seeing a lot of Cybertrucks on the road. Have you seen a lot of Cybertrucks? It's funny. Every time I pass one, my wife's like, "That's so ugly." I'm like, "Yeah, but every time you see it, you acknowledge it." I'm like, "That's why it's there." The regular Tesla vehicles are just kind of normal and very functional. Everyone loves them, but they're not like wow. They still have to have some kind of wow in Tesla in order to turn heads, and that Cybertruck turned some heads. I wanted to get one. Remember I said I was going to get one? The measurements wouldn't fit in my garage, so I was going to leave it in my driveway. But anyway, so we'll see if this holds. Kind of hold 222 and get to 224, 228. I am long a little Tesla, and I trimmed a little bit. I'm not adding right away. Just not doing it. What is space? Yeah, if you look at the TLTs, someone's like, look what that move in the TLTs. The street thinks, we're going to have 100 basis points in cuts by the end of the year. I'm like, it's going to be hard to have 100 basis points of cuts when we're 2% off all-time highs, or 2.5. So something's going to have to give in the next week between now and 9/18. 9/18, today's 9/05. So if we really think we're getting a 50 basis point cut on the 18th, chances are, I would think, the SPYs are going to be more down here near that retracement area. Just, thinking out loud. Right now, the SPYs are up a whole 45 cents. And so far, we're getting some inside action. So we'll see if this goes red and breaks this spot, chances are you might be able to get a good little short move. But, if it hangs in here, it might be just waiting for tomorrow. I remember this move down. You had this little, topping tail, and then all of a sudden, boom. And that was with some kind of data. But anyway, a lot of guys are pointing to this potential double top, and we'll see if that's the case. A lot of MACD crossovers to the downside in some tech and some semis. So we'll see. Yeah, that's true. I'm not trading Netflix. I am not trading Microsoft. Microsoft has been horrible. Microsoft also, just like most of these things, gave you, a broken bounce into a lower high. Didn't get all the way back here, so I've been avoiding it. Google, broken bounce, right? Broken bounce. Here is your high. That's the August 5th lows. Not much of a bounce, considering that the SPYs and a lot of things came all the way up to here. It was down here, and it looks like, we'll see if Google's going to be the first Mag 7 name to break the August 5th lows. That probably would show that it could happen, and that would probably be a drag on things. Meta's been a little bit better, but Meta to me has been a really hard name. Why has it been a hard name? Because it's a tease. It's a tease. Anyway, it's got a nice long base. You could draw this out and say, hey, Red Dog, this thing's been basing for 6 months. At some point, it's going to go. I do agree, but right here, it was a tease. Got above the high by $2, and now all of a sudden, it's holding the 50-day. So yes, low, higher low. To me, it's hard money right now. The whole market kind of feels like hard money. In my mind, I feel like, SPYs shouldn't have got back to where they got back to, but that's my thought. Should have stopped at 550, not 564, because that's actually my lost money short there. But now it's, in a better spot. But anyway, gold, yes, Sully, gold's been kind of hanging in here, and gold looks like it's going to break above this 234 now. So for those gold bugs that, have been, buying gold every single month, like my boy Petey, you're going to get paid. So congratulations to you. Here's 222. Anyway, this is when some active guys got in it, and it's still, above the 21-day. It held it the other day, and, now it's up a bit. So just be careful adding to gold on strength, but gold looks really good. It does. Bitcoin's a pain in the butt, to be honest. If you look at what's Bitcoin doing today, I've lost a lot of money in this stupid range in Bitcoin. I'm not going to sugarcoat and be like, I make every dollar in Bitcoin. Baloney. This range has sucked. Excuse my French. The way it's been trading. Every time it looks good, you have to sell it. Every time it looks bad, it's been bought. Look at this range in Bitcoin. Now it looks like, it's in the lower end of the range and looks lower even, to be honest. I remember here around the halving, I was buying BITO calls, probably spent $50,000 buying calls, and then that happened, and then it looked like it was going to go again, and then that happened, and P.S. I was long here, the IBIT, trying to stay with some, thinking, hey, maybe we got a bull flag here, and then that happened. Bottom line is, we've been in the same range since February 2024, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. It's been 8 months. But then some people are like, hey, Red Dog, you just have high expectations. Look at the weekly chart. All it's doing is consolidating one hell of a move, which is true also. Look at this move that we had to start the year. This was a huge move. So with that being said, Bitcoin's really not doing, something bad here. It's just taking its time. This is when you had the 31,000 buy in October, right? That was almost a year ago. And now all it's doing is kind of consolidating, but it's just, it's just not where the action is. It's fine. That's why as a trader, you have to go where the action is, right? How about PayPal? I don't know. Some of these payment stocks did better. Let's go to PayPal real quick. PayPal's got a bull flag up here. Okay, it doesn't look so horrible. That's the new special. It doesn't look so horrible. So yeah, I'm not in PayPal. I'm not going to say I am. But you got a little bull flag here. Looks pretty decent above the 8-day. Finally woke up after a long period. Look at the weekly chart. How long this thing has been, down in the dumpster. A lot of people have been trying to find this, final this bounce. Right? How many times did Kramer talk about buying PayPal when look how this was below the 8-day this entire time. Wow. That's why I talk about the 8-day all the time. So anyway, it is above it. Here's the weekly. PayPal's above it. Maybe PayPal wants to get to here. So if you're in PayPal, there you go. You have probably room to about 93 on the weekly, right? But look at that trend. That just shows you when things break, doesn't matter the company, doesn't matter, how much you love them, how much you use them. When a broken stock's broken, it's broken. Isn't that a sophisticated term? When a broken stock's broken, it's broken. Anyway, there is some room there. You could do the same with AFM or AFRM, right? Remember when this broke? Okay. That was a long time ago. Everyone loved this stock. I remember I loved it too. And then it broke right here, 133. Now it looks like this AFRM, could be on its way here, but it shouldn't give back more than half of this. And these are weekly charts. I'm not looking at daily charts right now. This is 52. If you want to go to the daily chart, here it is. You're in long versus gap pivot. This is the pro earnings gap. Gave you a way to, sell some and now see if it holds here and goes sideways. You can say the same thing about UPST. UPST broke at that spot, but look where that earnings gap is. And hey, look at that Red Dog reversal. Got above, 44.50, went to 45.71 and gave you a topping tail. You always got to look when these things have that kind of move and give you that topping tail and squeeze out the last shorts and, get the last longs in and then come in, So anyway, so I guess see what happens here. This would be a spot that I guess it can go down to, right? This is 32.98. But anyway, nice move. So some of these names could be reborn and give you new active sequences and make you money. Just don't get caught up in names that you think, were great back in the day that turned into sugar honey iced tea, if you know what that is. So anyway, we'll see what goes on here. The Qs are not acting well. The Qs also, just like the SMH, is put in a lower high. So we'll see what happens here. This gap is gone. So when the gap is gone, what's this? That was right here. You go like this, bye-bye. So now you can kind of like make this like this, show where it broke down from. I change my charts all the time. This would be huge resistance now. This is yesterday's high. Yesterday gave you some good trading action. If you got short on Monday, or Tuesday, yesterday when you came in, you could have covered some shorts, got a little long. We reclaimed the prior day's low, gave you a push, you get out, and then you could have reshorted. And now today, we'll see. Not a whole hell of a lot looking here. Nvidia's up 60 cents. Tesla was the good overnight. I have that one. I have a little Nvidia. I'm trimming a little bit because it could easily take this red. And the SPYs are doing nothing. It's the market we're in right now. We're in a waiting game, waiting to see what happens with the jobs info tomorrow. And then, there's some more data next week. And then 9/18 is a quarter or a half. So we'll see where we are by then. But at this point, the market upper range is broken. Things feel a little bit more bent. Be very, very selective. And just wait for a setup and don't have much FOMO, and that'll keep you in check. Thanks for tuning in. I got to jump, guys. Listen, try my virtual trading floor next week. It's free though. You can spend the whole week with me and the crew right here. This is the Alpha team. A lot of you guys are having some trouble out there. I get it. Listen, the last 2-3 weeks have been choppy for most even guys that have been doing this for 20, 30 years. Okay, so if you've been doing this for 2 to 3 years or 1 to 2 years or 5 years, we get it. I'm not going to sugarcoat and say we've been making gazillions, and I turned 50,000 into 500,000 like all those on Twitter say. It's been a little bit of a struggle with this range, and now we're all trying to just work it back, get on a good footing, and wait for a great sequence, and then go. Day trade until all of a sudden more clarity. And then what I've learned through my history of the market is you make money 2-3 times a year. That's when you get really, really good action. And then the rest of the year, you got to nickel and dime your way into a few paychecks and not pull your hair out. Even though my forehead looks like I'm pulling hair out, I'm just getting old. Anyway, guys, good luck.